A CEO's 28-year-old son stands in court facing a lawsuit filed by an employee over harassment and wrongful termination. Suddenly, in the middle of the employee's testimony before Judge Caprio, the son jumps up and yells, "You're testifying against me. You're fired. My dad owns this business. You are finished." This entitled heir is about to learn that retaliatory firing is illegal. He'll discover that courtrooms enforce strict rules and that some CEOs value their company's integrity over shielding a son who abuses power. Yet, what shocks most isn't merely the lawsuit or harassment claims, it's his behavior during the trial. How he tried to intimidate a witness in open court and what his CEO father said when Judge Caprio called him on speakerphone for everyone to hear. This is a story of a bullied employee and a son who believed running daddy's company meant firing anyone who opposed him. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because what comes next proves corporate influence can't buy immunity even if your father owns the empire and you feel untouchable. On a Wednesday morning at Providence Municipal Court, Judge Frank Caprio presides over a civil trial about harassment and wrongful firing that has captured the attention of the local business community. The case involves workplace abuse, misused authority, and whether executive family ties can shield someone from labor law. Tyler Preston, 28, son of billionaire Robert Preston, owner of the major Rari manufacturer Preston Industries, faces a suit filed by former employee James Tyler. James, 42, worked as a production manager for 11 years. He was a top performer, earning excellent reviews while managing 35 staffers and meeting production goals. 3 months ago, he was terminated, which he claims was illegal and retaliatory. The conflict centers on Tyler Preston, who was appointed vice president at his father's company 2 years ago. Despite having no manufacturing experience and a reputation for arrogance and mistreating staff, Tyler reported directly to his father and oversaw multiple divisions, including James' team. According to filings and co-worker testimony, Tyler created a toxic work environment. He publicly humiliated employees, labeled them incompetent, threatened to fire anyone who questioned him, and often reminded staff that his father owned the company. James documented many incidents over 18 months, Tyler calling a 55-year-old worker too slow, telling a staffer seeking medical leave that weak people don't belong, and warning employees not to contact HR. The breaking point came 3 months ago during a meeting. Tyler proposed accelerating production in a way that James believed violated safety rules and OSHA standards. James raised his concerns professionally, citing regulations. Tyler, in front of 12 staffers, became hostile. He accused James of undermining him, called him a nobody, and shouted, "My father owns this company. I can do whatever I want." When James insisted on safety compliance and mentioned filing a report, Tyler fired him on the spot. "You're done. Clear your desk. If you file anything, I'll make sure you never work in manufacturing in this state again." Security escorted James out. 2 weeks later, he sued, alleging retaliatory termination for raising safety concerns, a violation of state and federal law, and included harassment claims based on Tyler's abusive behavior. After preliminary hearings, the trial is now underway before Judge Caprio for witness testimony and a final decision. Tyler Preston enters wearing a designer suit, his luxury watch visible, carrying himself with the confidence of someone unaccustomed to consequences. His attorney is Richard Morrison from Providence's top corporate firm. James Tyler sits at the plaintiff's table with lawyer Sarah Chin, a labor rights attorney known for taking on powerful companies. James is nervous but determined. He's been unemployed for 3 months, struggling to pay his mortgage and support his wife and 2 teenage children. No manufacturing firm in Rhode Island will hire him, knowing Preston Industries fired him and fearing the repercussions of angering such a powerful company. The gallery includes several spectators, among them 3 former Preston employees, supporting James despite risking their own jobs. Judge Caprio reviews the case files. This civil case involves wrongful termination and harassment. Mr. Tyler claims he was fired in retaliation for raising safety concerns. Mr. Preston denies this, saying Mr. Tyler was terminated for insubordination and poor performance. We will hear testimony and review evidence. Tyler's lawyer, Morrison, rises. Your Honor, my client strongly denies all claims. Mr. Tyler was terminated for repeated insubordination and failure to follow instructions. This suit is simply an attempt to extract money from a successful family business. Judge Caprio looks at Morrison. Mr. Morrison, the facts will be determined by testimony. Call your first witness. James' attorney, Sarah Chin, calls James Tyler to the stand. He is sworn in. Chin begins questioning him about his employment, role at Preston Industries, and interactions with Tyler Preston. James recounts his 11-year career, rising from floor supervisor to production manager with consistently positive reviews. 2 years ago, Tyler Preston joined as VP, and everything changed. James testifies that Tyler, without manufacturing experience, was granted authority over multiple departments, including his own. From day one, he treated staff as beneath him. Can you provide examples? Chin asks. James details incidents, Tyler calling a veteran employee incompetent in front of the entire floor, telling a staffer requesting leave for a child's surgery, "Your personal problems aren't my concern. Figure it out or quit." He threatened anyone who could make him look bad to his father. Then James recounts the final incident. "We were in a production meeting. Tyler wanted to increase line speed by 30%. I reviewed the proposal and noticed it bypassed several safety protocols. As production manager, I raised concerns." What happened next? Chin asked. Tyler became enraged, accusing James of undermining his authority. "These are OSHA requirements, not suggestions," James said. Tyler interrupted, "My father owns this company. I decide what happens. You're just an employee." James paused, recalling the moment vividly. "I told him I might file a formal report. That's when he fired me. You're done. Pack your desk. If you file anything, I'll ensure you never work in this state again." Were there witnesses? Chin asked. Yes, 12 employees were present. Judge Caprio then asks. "Mr. Tyler, do you have documentation?" The judge asks. "Yes, Your Honor. I kept detailed notes with dates and witnesses. I also have emails where I raised safety concerns professionally." James' attorney submits the evidence, emails highlighting legitimate safety issues, notes documenting Tyler's abusive behavior, and performance reviews showing James excelled until Tyler arrived. Meanwhile, Tyler Preston sits at the defense table, visibly irritated. He scrolls through his phone, shaking his head and acting dismissive. Judge Caprio observes but continues listening. Chin questions James about the termination's impact. His voice falters. "Your Honor, I've been unemployed for 3 months. I've applied to 23 manufacturing positions here. No one will hire me. Word spread that Preston Industries fired me. Companies fear angering them. I've burned through my savings. My mortgage is 2 months overdue. My daughter deferred college because we can't afford it. I did nothing wrong. I raised safety concerns, which is my legal duty, and I was punished." Judge Caprio asks the defense if they wish to cross-examine. Morrison rises, attempting to portray James as difficult and insubordinate. James remains calm and professional, citing his track record and noting that his only insubordination was refusing to violate federal safety regulations. Chin then calls David Rodriguez, a current employee who witnessed the confrontation. Rodriguez appears terrified but is under subpoena. "Mr. Rodriguez, you were present when Mr. Tyler was fired?" Chin asks. "Yes," he replies nervously. "Can you describe what happened?" Rodriguez glances at Tyler before speaking. James raised concerns about the speed increase. He was professional, citing OSHA codes. Tyler became furious, accusing James of undermining him. James tried explaining the regulations. Tyler interrupted, saying his father owns the company and he can do whatever he wants. Then he fired James immediately and threatened him. At that moment, Tyler Preston bolts upright from the defense table, his face bright red. His voice booms, drawing everyone's attention. "You're testifying against me? Are you serious?" His lawyer grabs his arm, whispering urgently, "Tyler, sit down." Tyler shrugs him off and points directly at Rodriguez. "You're done, David. You are fired. My dad owns this company and I run it. You just testified against me in court. Pack your desk. You're fired immediately." The courtroom erupts in chaos. Judge Caprio's voice cuts sharply through the noise. "Mr. Preston, sit down immediately." Tyler ignores him, still pointing at Rodriguez. "Did you hear me, David? You're fired. And anyone else here? You think you can testify against me? My father owns Preston Industries. I can fire anyone I want." Judge Caprio rises. "Mr. Preston, you are in contempt of court." Tyler turns to the judge, arrogance fully visible. "Contempt? I am the VP of Preston Industries. My father is one of the most powerful businessmen in Rhode Island. You can't hold me in contempt. I am firing an employee. That is my right. Caprio's tone hardens to ice. Mr. Preston, you just tried to fire a witness in the middle of testimony in my courtroom. You have engaged in illegal witness intimidation and retaliation, in front of me, the reporter, and everyone present. You have just proven Mr. Tyler's case. Tyler finally seems to realize his catastrophic error, but his ego prevents any retreat. My father will hear about this, he mutters. Judge Caprio delivers a decision that will become legendary. Your father? Let's call him now. Clerk, get Robert Preston, CEO of Preston Industries, on the line immediately. We will discuss your son's behavior in open court. Tyler pales. Your Honor, that isn't necessary. Oh, it is very necessary. Mr. Preston, you were referenced 5 times in 2 minutes. You claimed ownership gives your son immunity from the law. He just fired a witness mid-testimony. Let's hear from your father. Within minutes, the clerk connects Robert Preston by phone. Judge Caprio puts it on speaker. Mr. Preston, this is Judge Frank Caprio of Providence Municipal Court. Your son Tyler is in court for a wrongful termination hearing. During testimony, he stood and fired the witness, then threatened others. He repeatedly claims your ownership allows him to act without consequence. I've put you on speaker so we may discuss this publicly. A long pause follows. Robert Preston's voice is calm but tense. Your Honor, did you say my son fired a witness during testimony? That is correct, Mr. Preston, and he threatened others. Caprio confirms. Mr. Preston, your son is sued for wrongful termination and harassment. The plaintiff alleges he was fired for raising safety concerns. Your son just confirmed this by firing another employee in my courtroom while testifying under oath. Silence fills the room. Then Robert Preston's tone changes, commanding authority. Your Honor, is the witness still present? Yes, Mr. Preston. David Rodriguez is on the stand. Robert's voice booms. David, I am Robert Preston, CEO of Preston Industries. First, you are not fired. You are legally protected as a subpoenaed witness. Second, I apologize for putting you in this position. David looks stunned. Thank you, Mr. Preston, he says. Robert's tone hardens further. Your Honor, I must be clear. My son has no authority to fire anyone without my approval and an HR review. That policy exists specifically because of complaints about his behavior. Judge Caprio asks the pivotal question. Mr. Preston, are you aware your son created a hostile work environment? The CEO's answer shocks the courtroom. Yes, Your Honor. I am aware. I received complaints. I spoke to Tyler repeatedly. I thought I had it under control. Clearly, I was wrong. Tyler tries to interrupt. Dad, these people are lying. They're trying to. Robert Preston's voice cuts sharply, like a knife. Be quiet. For once in your entitled life, be quiet and listen. The courtroom falls silent. Robert continues, Your Honor, I must admit something I should have admitted months ago. Making my son a VP was a mistake. He wasn't qualified or ready. I hoped the family business would teach him responsibility. Instead, I enabled his worst traits. He used my name as a shield to treat people terribly. Judge Caprio asks, Mr. Preston, what are you saying? I'm saying my son is guilty of everything Mr. Tyler alleged. I read the complaints and saw the evidence. I hoped he would change, but what he did today, firing a witness in your courtroom, proves who he is, and I can no longer protect that behavior. Tyler stares in disbelief. Dad, you're supposed to be on my side. Your side? Robert responds, voice tightening with emotion. Tyler, you learned nothing. You fired someone for telling the truth. You threatened witnesses. You claim my ownership grants you immunity. That is not leadership. That is abuse of power. Judge Caprio asks, Mr. Preston, Mr. Tyler is suing for wrongful termination. What is your position? My position is that Mr. Tyler is correct. He was wrongfully terminated for raising safety concerns. That is illegal and morally wrong. Tyler's jaw drops. Robert continues, I am prepared to settle immediately, full back pay, emotional damages, a positive reference, and a public statement acknowledging our wrongdoing. Caprio asks, and regarding your son's actions today, firing a witness in court? Robert's reply shocks the courtroom. Your Honor, I defer to you on contempt charges. My son needs to learn consequences. Regarding his role at Preston Industries, effective immediately, Tyler is no longer employed by my company. He is terminated for witness intimidation, illegal retaliation, and harassment. Tyler jumps to his feet. You can't fire me. I'm your son. You are my son, and I love you, Robert says, but you are a liability to my employees and everything I built. I am firing you the same way you fired James Tyler, but this time with actual cause. The courtroom is stunned into silence. Robert continues, Your Honor, I want to address Mr. Tyler directly. He is listening. Mr. Preston, this is Robert. I owe you an apology. My son created a hostile work environment. He fired you illegally, and I failed to stop it soon enough. You raised legitimate safety concerns, which is your duty, and you were punished. That is unconscionable. My company will make this right financially. More importantly, I am implementing mandatory training, a zero-tolerance policy, and independent oversight. This will never happen again. James, emotional, responds, Mr. Preston, I just wanted to support my family. That's all any of us want. I know, Robert says. And you will. Your Honor, I offer Mr. Tyler his job back with a promotion to Senior Production Manager, a 20% raise, and a formal apology. Judge Caprio looks at James. Mr. Tyler? James wipes his eyes. I accept, Your Honor. The call ends. Tyler sits at the defense table, utterly destroyed. His attorney packs his briefcase. Finished with the case, Judge Caprio addresses Tyler. Mr. Preston, you entered thinking wealth and power protected you. You fired a witness during testimony and threatened others, demonstrating exactly the abusive behavior alleged. For contempt, I find you personally liable for $10,000 for witness intimidation. I am referring this for criminal charges and issuing a restraining order. Tyler tries one last time. My father will pay the fine. No, Mr. Preston. You just fired someone. You will pay personally. Maybe now you'll learn that power comes with responsibility. Tyler is let out by the bailiff. Passing James, he offers no apology, just angry silence. David Rodriguez approaches James. Thank you for standing up. I couldn't have done this without you. James shakes his hand. We protect each other. That's what workers do. Within days, the story spreads throughout Rhode Island. Robert holds a press conference, announcing his son's termination, the new reforms, and publicly apologizing to every mistreated employee. Tyler, unemployed and facing charges, finally realizes being a CEO's son grants no immunity. 6 months later, James is thriving as senior manager. Preston Industries' culture has dramatically improved. Staff feel safe reporting concerns. Robert meets with teams monthly. David Rodriguez, whom Tyler tried to fire, is now assistant manager. Tyler works at a startup with no family ties, no power, just accountability. 1 year later, Tyler asks to meet James. James agrees. Humbled by consequences, Tyler speaks. I was wrong. I treated people terribly because I thought I was untouchable. You stood for what was right, and I tried to destroy you. I'm sorry. James responds, I appreciate the apology, but understand you didn't just hurt me. You hurt David, and everyone else who was afraid to speak up. Power is a responsibility, not a weapon. I hope you learned that. Tyler nods. I did it the hard way, but I learned it. Make sure to subscribe for more courtroom stories where big money meets hard justice. Tyler Preston believed running his dad's firm meant he could fire anyone who opposed him. He even stood in Judge Caprio's courtroom and fired a witness for being honest. He yelled, "My dad owns this company," as if that made him untouchable. Instead, he heard his CEO father back the victim. He heard his father terminate him publicly. He saw his dad choose honor over nepotism. And that phrase, "you're fired," became the defining moment that taught him the greatest lesson of his privileged life. That is justice. That is integrity.